Hey guys, do you know what kind of action is the best kind of action to take? My name is Diana Lizarazo, and my co host is Matt Goddard. I'm excited for this episode because we are going to be talking about an important topic that I think is going to help you push to start your business, or even if you're in a stall in a business, to get it moving forward. So, Matt, tell me, what is the best type of action to take?
I think the best type of action to take is imperfect action or any kind of action. Um, if you're not taking action, you're not moving and nothing's happening. Imperfect action, while make feel uncomfortable, is the first step in getting your business and getting your plans forward.
100% agree which last month's topic was analysis paralysis. And I love this topic because, especially for someone like me, a lot of us can easily get stuck in areas just because we're the fear is kicking in. And sometimes I think to get rid of those fears is just like literally just start going and not caring about those fears, right? And just going and getting whatever
And
you need to get done so that you can get enough data to even know if you're going in the right direction.
yeah, it's easy to say that we only take action and take steps when we're 100% confident and we know what we want to do and we know what the outcome's going to be 100%. Um, but I mean, that's generally not going to be the case, especially if you're trying something new, if you're trying to start a business, trying to grow a business, um,
I
or
completely
anything
agree.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree because especially when you're starting a business, majority of the people, there's a lot of areas in starting a business that are new. So you can't even say you know what it is that how it's going to go and how it's going to be. And these imperfect actions are really what's going to start giving you the guidance and kind of giving you that navigation where, like, oh, that probably wasn't a good idea, but you learn from it and you realize, okay, maybe I should do this or that or the other thing. And so, even just these imperfect actions help you to start navigating through it because this is something new for you. Maybe one aspect of it, for example, maybe if you have the technical know-how, but the imperfect actions may be coming from like, how the hell do I even run a business? Or vice versa,
Yeah.
right? You could really know how to run a business, but maybe you don't know how to hire the right people and you don't know what is needed, let's say, on the technical side of things, whatever it may be. There's always going to be, I think, there's going to always be some small amount of stuff that you do know. And I think it's all the other stuff that you don't know that's a lot larger which makes it scarier. But it's like you just have to take that action to move
Yeah.
forward and start figuring out what is the right path that's going to help your
Yeah.
business move forward and understand even what you need for your business.
Yeah. And I guess to be a little more clear, like at least what I mean when I'm saying imperfect action is something in which like you either don't know what the outcome is going to be, or you do know what the outcome is going to be, but it's not exactly what you need or want, but it's something, right? So
I
for
think it's more,
example,
sorry, yeah.
uh, I was just going to say, like, for example, um, you know, I'm training to do a 10-kilometer run. I'm not very good at running. I am built like a little hobbit, short, stout, and not a lot of uh, running stature. And so, but I'm training, and I mean, I guess even, the act of training is a bunch of imperfect steps and imperfect actions. Um, but for me, I know I'm not going to be able to run that entire 5K, but I am going to run the 5K. Uh, and I will be walking for parts of it. And I already know that, but I am going to take that action and 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 do it and learn from it. And the next time it'll be a little bit easier, or Well, hopefully it's a little bit easier. And then the next time after that, it'll be a little bit easier yet again. So, but it's only through trying and taking that imperfect action at the beginning that I can even attempt it and complete it uh fully running in the future, right?
100%. And I like the way actually the story that you gave because like that you have a goal. So you know what you're doing. Now, do you know the path that you're going to take? No, not yet. And you're going to just start, like you said, taking certain actions. And as you do it, you're going to see what works or what doesn't work and how you can improve it the best you can, like you said, for that specific uh, race. And so it's
Mhm.
like you may not know the path and the direction fully. You know the end. You're like you know where you're go like what the end product may be. And even it could in a business sense it may change, but generally I feel like that generic bigger goal doesn't change. It's more how you're going to get there that changes.
Yeah.
And those in between goals is really what it is that those may evolve and change. But like you said, those imperfect actions will always happen because it's the experiments
That's
and
that's
figuring
that's
it out.
the crux of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the crux of it. And and like even the training is a very good example. And y- yeah, you train for running or you train in sports or whatever, but you train in singing, you train in skill trades, you train in business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you need to try different things that often won't have the perfect outcome,
Mm-hmm.
um, so that you can learn, right? Uh,
Exactly.
and or at least move things forward. Maybe you don't even learn. Some
I
people
think people
stubborn.
always
Maybe they
learn.
don't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hopefully we all learn from the imperfect actions we take or the mistakes we make or whatever. But even if you don't, at least something is being moved forward.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Otherwise, like there's just no movement.
Exactly, exactly. For me specifically, where I've seen it and it's been really evolving and I've seen myself actually backtrack is doing these kind of things, doing these recordings. I was used to, you don't share your life publicly. You don't talk about things to the public. It was like a family thing where it's just like you keep your life private.
Everyone's more private. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's not good or you have to be humble so you shouldn't share these kind of things about yourself or whatever. Like you just it's just something that was very hard that you don't share. And then I have one of my mentors at the time make a reference basically saying, imagine you're an amazing real estate investor and
Mhm.
but you suck at public speaking. And that terrified me so much that that's where my imperfect action came for in trying to do lives and getting comfortable being in front of people or yeah being in front of people and like that I thought social media would be the best way to get started
Yeah,
um, because it was the scariest thing to me, but it was much scarier actually the thought of being this amazing person and not being able to show it because that other
right.
side I hadn't worked on. I was like, I'd rather be a newbie in both together and work at it together than be a newbie in the public atmosphere, but an experienced investor, like being an experienced
Yeah,
investor. And
yeah.
it's funny
It's
how,
definitely,
go on.
and that's the motivation you got, right? And then so that first call, or that not call, but that first video, that first post,
Mhm.
how was that?
Oh my God, that was the most traumatizing thing ever. But it's funny again how the imperfectness happened because, first
Mm.
of all, the perfectionist in me was like, I need to, I think maybe 30 seconds to a minute. I was like, I'm going to just do a short little recording. And it took me 3 hours to get this video done. But to be honest, at that amount of time, I felt like I'd wasted so much time. The last video was or I said to myself, I don't care anymore. I'm just putting it out. Whatever happens in this next one is just getting put
Mm.
out. Because also like I was getting frustrated. Like I can't spend any more time on this, especially at that time. I had a
Yeah,
job.
Yeah.
So imagine wasting 3 hours on like literally a 30-second to an hour, a minute video. It was just too
Yeah.
much time to be wasting on something like that. So that was like phase one. And then phase two was I was that so I did a few of those mini recordings, and then I was like, oh man, I can't be wasting this much time. And then so I put myself again through another imperfect action where I was like, well, screw it. I'm not spending 3 hours to record a 30-second to a minute video. I'm just going to go live. And and
Mhm.
then obviously you still think about things like I was like, how can I do this in a way that I'm not scared for my life? Because that also is intimidating. Like, well, I don't really want to talk about myself, especially because of those limiting beliefs that I had before of like you just don't share your life publicly. So
Sure.
I would, and at that time, I also felt too newbie to also talk about myself. And you have all these limiting beliefs, right? So I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, one, I can be the host. I'm very good at asking questions. I'm a very curious person. And on top of that, they get to share their experiences. I get to learn from them as a newer investor. I kind of like
Hmm.
really like that, and I didn't feel so. And I thought like I would feel nervous, but not so nervous. So my imperfect action was, I was like, okay, this is the next step. I'm just like, I'm gonna go for it, and I'm just gonna start doing
Whether,
lives.
yeah, whether you knew that it would be like a successful outcome or not a successful outcome or not, right? You just said like,
Yeah.
we're gonna, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. And because it wasn't, in my sense, it also wasn't about that. It was about learning from others
Hmm.
and sharing, having people like sharing that with others, that everyone else
Yeah.
could hear what I'm learning from these people and
Yeah.
working on myself. So it wasn't about the views, anyways, for me. It was
Right.
about I need to improve as a person. I need to learn to be comfortable with speaking. And I thought that was like my next phase. I was like, you know what? Asking questions, it can be easier for me, makes me feel comfortable. And
Hmm.
then I felt like that. It's like a win-win. It's like they're getting to share their experience, I'm getting to learn, and the audience is getting to learn. And whoever watches is meant to be to watch. So I wasn't focused on views at that time. It
Yeah.
was more
That
about
wasn't your metric of success. It
yeah.
was, am I going to maybe learn something? Am I going to be able to maybe build up the confidence or skill to talk
Hmm.
and share
Yeah.
like to the public?
Exactly. Exactly. And also
Yeah.
like that as time went on, I started becoming very comfortable with asking questions. And then also to the point that there would be some times where I would share stories about myself because I felt so comfortable in that conversation. Now, for example, in this year, it's really we're sharing our stories. And
Yeah.
so now I'm at the next level and I've seen myself backtrack where I get a little nervous. I getting nervous again where I used to just come on and be like, hey, what's going on? Like I felt I got to a point where I did feel natural because it was never about me. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's true I would share a story, but I felt so comfortable that I would share a story. Where now it's more of a this is more of a back and forth banter. It's now a different type of conversation.
Yeah.
So I felt myself again go into this kind of scared, oh my God, like now I'm actually gonna have to talk about myself. This is weird, and again, all those fears coming up. So I felt
Yeah.
myself kind of backtrack, and I'm trying to get myself back to this, like just feel comfortable. It's just a chit chat.
Yeah. Well, and so through all of that, like, have you, like, was it important for you to actually do these things? Like, does it even matter that you kind of, you took that first step and started making those videos, even though it took you like 3, 4 hours to make, like, is it important that, you had the lives? Like, what was the juice worth the squeeze? Like, is it worth it?
Oh, it was definitely worth it. Um I feel like even for example when I go to networking events, it's helped my
Mhm.
confidence with speaking with people too. So it also helped in many different other ways that I never thought. even about, that it would just give me confidence in other different ways. And like that, because there's certain goals that are in there. Like, let's say now, I think obviously, I mean, we were talking about it before. It's now I am, let's say, focusing on the views because I wasn't before, but now it's like, okay, again, like leveling up, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
yes, I am working on this, but I should also now start working on these other things too. Right. So for example,
Yeah.
now we talk about the views. We're like, okay, how can we improve this? Because obviously to improve the views, we need to improve ourselves. And
Yeah.
so it's more analysis is happening in that sense.
That's awesome. So I was actually, uh, as we were kind of discussing for this episode before it, um, my my story, I ended up wanting to share was actually ended up being similar to yours, which was just to talk more about even what we're doing here, right? Like, neither one of us are professional speakers. I sure as heck ain't. I'm lucky enough if I engage in, the broader world, like by posting online or whatever, you know, I'm lucky if I do that
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just
multiple
how.
times a week or once a month, and so, yeah, like there's the uncomfortable step for me, or the uncomfortable, um, decision was to even start doing this with you. Like, I like to talk. We have great conversations, and it kind of came to a point like, oh, this should be like, why aren't we sharing with other people, right?
100%.
It doesn't need to be perfect. Uh, but without feedback, without actually taking action, it then like, yeah, it definitely won't be perfect because it will never exist.
Exactly, exactly. And then it's, a story could help someone that you never know,
Yeah,
or information could help people. And so it's just like and like that, it's like, again, I feel like it's always a win-win on all sides. You're helping improve yourself in this, you're getting a clearer vision of what it is, the goal is that you're creating, or like that, those mini goals, because obviously I feel like the higher goals, the bigger goals are always there because they're generic enough that it doesn't change. But but you're kind of working towards it, and slowly getting there. And
yeah,
it wouldn't be without those imperfect actions, because like you said, well, I mean, let's say in my case, right, I started with 30-second to 60-second little recordings, and the reason I did that was because I thought it would be the easiest, but to be honest, it didn't feel easy at all for me. And then so I was like, what can I make easy? And I'm like, I just should do lives, because whatever is out there, and I'm
yeah,
gonna, and it's going to be sent out to everyone, and I'll probably learn better my mistakes, because I'm like, now it's like it's out in the public already, and it's like, well, now you have to start working on yourself, getting more
yeah,
comfortable, where no one was seeing the mistakes that was going on in the recordings, because spending 3 hours doing these recordings, but no one else was seeing them except for the final product, which was still not that good. But I was just like, how can I speed up the process, um,
yeah,
of these imperfect actions, basically, was what it was. How can I speed it up? Like, yes, it's imperfect, but I got to just make this happen a lot better, a lot
yeah.
quicker.
And it's essentially like I would say it would not be unfair to say that, uh, taking taking imperfect action is essentially like it is training, it's learning, like it is a necessity, right?
Yes, exactly.
Um, it's akin to training a skill or a concept
Yeah,
or, um, a, a business.
mhm,
Um, if you are waiting for like the stars and the moon and the planets to align for the perfect time for you to, uh, grow your business or to, start a business or to learn a new skill. Um, I mean, you might be waiting forever and then
yeah,
you'll never learn that, right?
Yeah.
Now you have hundreds of hours of like practice. Like for this example, hundreds of hours of practice talking with people, communicating with people, asking questions, like structuring conversation, so to speak, right?
Hmm.
And like like whether that was the end goal or not the end goal, it's something like it, and the same thing could be said with any other imperfect action you take.
Hmm.
Like
Well, there's
it,
always
it,
learnings that come out of it. And like that, it gives you a guidance on how am I doing or what direction should I be going in from what has been happening. So it's also just nice because, and you learn like that, like even the first phase of what I did, to me, those 30-second to 60-second videos was not working for me. I didn't like it. So I
Mhm.
learned, okay, this is not working. I need to do something else. What can I do where I'm not wasting so much time and that I can actually better perform? And I was like, well, I'm a very curious person. I like asking questions. So why not do that in front of people? Because not only I'm learning from these experienced people, but also others are learning. And then so then even you start learning like that. You do your first one, and again, it's that
Yeah.
imperfect action. You don't really know where you're going with it because you don't understand that area of that you're getting into. But then you do it, and you're like, wow, that's not really me. That's not like I can't work in this kind of environment. This is not working. But then you realize, okay, so what kind of environment can I work with? And that's where being a host came in because I was like, I could do that. I'm like, yes, I'm going
Mhm.
to be very nervous. Don't get me wrong. But I felt a lot more comfortable in being a host and asking questions and learning from people than I did with these 30-second to 60-second
Yeah.
videos. Right. So even
Yeah.
you see that transition happen was because of that imperfect action that wasn't working for me at all. Like it was just like, this is not happening. I can't get this to work. I can't waste this kind of time. There has to be a better way. Generally, that's what happens, right? There has to be a better way?
Yeah. 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 And I think that's like, I mean, we're talking a little in circle, like at least I feel like I am a little bit. It's better to take that action, and you wouldn't know otherwise, right?
Exactly.
Like
Until you take those actions, you're right. So you
exactly,
really know
exactly.
what works or what doesn't work for you.
It's pretty like to say that. I mean, this is maybe being a little, philosophical woo-woo, but to say that I know exactly the perfect steps and plans to take for business, for starting a business, for growing a business, for learning a skill. Um, like to say that I could take the perfect action in something, it's pretty presumptuous, right?
Mhm.
Like there's a lot of variables in the world, and okay, I might know exactly what happens when I um take the action to drink this water out of this cup. I know that's going to go down to here. Yeah, I could take a perfect sip of water. Trust me, I can. I don't need to show it on camera. Trust me, I could. But like, I don't, to say that I know exactly the outcome of something is pretty presumptuous. I think the better answer is take an action. It will most likely not be perfect, whatever that means, right?
Mhm.
But was it beneficial? Did you learn something?
Mhm.
Did the plan get moved forward? Did you get a new skill? Did it lead to something better? Like another skill and another thing and snowball, right? Like,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah. I completely agree. These things are so important to just help you move forward because it's all a learning process. And the only times I feel that you will start having less assumptions and more understanding is because you've already done it.
yeah.
Like actually, it's funny you were saying it was making me think of I was talking to a friend that's a new investor, and I was giving her some guidance,
Mhm.
and I was like, I know this is the approach you have to go. You got to do this in this way, and you got to get this type of information. You got to learn. I got to learn about this type of thing. But that's because I've already done it, right? But before that, It was like I said, this the trial and error, figuring out what is the best approach that works for me. How is that going to
Mhm.
happen? And again, kind of what you're saying for her, maybe that approach may not work as well for her because we are different people, but at least she has some sort of direction that she can go
Yes,
in, right? And
exactly.
that, yes, this, because it could also be like, yes, this works really well for me. This is how I do things. And in general, I think it will majority, but there's going to be, I'm sure, pieces in there where she's like, oh, no, 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 this approach does not work well for me in this aspect or that aspect, and I prefer to do this or that. But how would she know to do this or that if it weren't
Yeah.
for some level of starting?
Yeah, exactly. Like it makes me think of um I mean like anytime I reflect back and this sort of wow, I really like jumped into doing that. Like when you that just that sort of feeling of like, yeah, I jumped into, you know, being friends with this person or networking with this person or whatever. Like that's essentially you started something, not knowing what the outcome was. You had this kind of goal or this vision and you couldn't even have the hindsight had you not taken some kind of action, right?
100%.
And sometimes that I really jumped into, I jumped into the deep end is sometimes you might drown, but like usually, you can learn how to swim, I guess. I don't know if this is the best analogy, but you can learn how to swim or someone saves you. I don't know, but there's some value. Maybe don't jump into the deep end of the pool if you can't
Yeah,
swim,
maybe more into the
but
shallow end.
maybe more to the shallow end. But I mean, if you jump into the pool, then you can learn how to swim.
Yeah,
There,
yeah,
there is some value to that sort of saying. So,
yeah.
yeah,
No, I do agree. Yeah, I think this is great information. I think let's recap it for everyone before we end this. So what do you think, let's say the best steps are or what they should do or to take those imperfect actions? What has been your learning experience that you would like to impart to them of taking imperfect action?
well, for me, I would say it's not necessarily about being comfortable in taking that action or, learn to be comfortable taking imperfect action. It's, it's like, I guess there's an element of that, but for me, I'm maybe a little more analytical. It's like, is this action actually, does it at least have some kind of benefit? Does it at least have like some sort of purpose? Am I gonna learn something? Is it gonna move the plan or idea forward? Um, like I'm being a little utilitarian there, but like at the end of the day, sometimes you need to take action whether you're comfortable or not. So to wait to be comfortable to do something new or take a imperfect action or do something that you don't know what the outcome's going to be, if you wait for that perfect moment to be comfortable doing it, I mean, you're just kind of back at the same place. Sometimes you just need to, whether
Move.
you're comfortable or not, do it.
I
And
completely
I know from experience, there's a lots of things that I avoid in my life because I'm not comfortable. And usually, you know, that that sense of peace and comfort only comes through going through and doing that. So, and uh, whether it's perfect or imperfect. So,
Yeah. Speaking from a recovering perfectionist, I agree. That's something definitely I feel like my learning experiences were exactly that. You can never know everything, and you just have to take the actions because it's really those actions that tell you really what you need to know and it
yeah,
starts helping you build that path to meeting that goal. And yeah, the even the analysis paralysis thing, like all this stuff is things that stop you because of the fears that you have to take action. And
yeah,
I think it's just screw it, take the action, and and you'll see very quickly what that means. And I think that learning mentality is important where where it's like, okay, this is a learning experience and not getting stuck at,
Yeah.
because it could also happen that, oof, like this went really bad and I'm stupid and I'm dumb and I can't believe I did this and I'm never doing this again. Like, no, it's like you also have to be prepared, take those imperfect actions and come in. What did I learn from it? How can I make this better, to continue moving forward? Because I learned this and this and this. This does work, this doesn't work, and
Yeah.
now what is the next step to get closer to that my goal,
Yeah.
and from that learning experience. So I think that learning mentality also, I think, is very
Yeah.
important
I
to
think
be able to push forward.
it's a skill that um embodies the spirit of learning, the spirit of curiosity, right? Um, and I think those are invaluable, especially, we're talking about videos and stuff here, which relates to some of the work we do, but like especially related to business and all aspects of our lives.
100%. Matt, thank you so much. This is always a fun. It's always fun to chat with you. I feel like this is a great topic. Actually, do we know what our next topic is for next month?
I
Forget.
don't know if we settled on one, and what I'm gonna say is,
Let us
let's
know.
just,
Tell
yeah,
us if
let
you
us
guys
know.
have another next topic that you want us to talk about.